Have you ever wanted to quit, walk away, be done with it all, start something fresh and new just because you're kind of tired? If you have, stay tuned. Hey y'all, this is Ricky with the Scriptures Revealed YouTube channel, and we are about to hit another hard topic this week. I'm going to talk about something that I've said before. If you were honest with yourself, I'm sure you've said it before as well. But it's just, you've either said it or thought it, but just the thought of, I think I want to quit. It is very common. It's a part of the human experience to get engaged with different things in life, and you bump up against this thing called quit. Whether you are in ministry, whether you're in school, whether you're at a job, and wherever you are in a relationship, everybody's going to be confronted with, I'm done. I want out. I want to walk away. I want to quit. And the key to it all is discerning, should I be walking away or should I be pressing into this? And quitting is a real thing. Wanting to walk away is a real thing. And what we neglect to look at a lot of times is not the issue of quitting. Is a spiritual issue, it's an emotional issue, it's a mental one, and it's a physical one. So I want to hit all of those to help us to begin to identify how did we end up wanting to quit. Because you've got to begin to assess that stuff in your life and in your heart and in your soul. What is making me want to quit? We've got to assess that. Number one, quitting is a spiritual thing. It is a spiritual thing, because I was in service earlier, and God was talking to me about liberty and freedom and the whole idea of deliverance and coming out. And I was rejoicing about freedom. People around me were rejoicing about freedom. And the Lord whispered something to me, and He said, I don't set people free and I don't liberate them because I want them to be independent. He said, I actually set them free so that I can be the one calling the shots, influencing them, dictating their life and decisions. He said, I'm not liberating you so that you can be your own man or so that you could be your own woman. It's that the mysticism of freedom is wrapped up in the fact not that you get to do what you want, but you get to respond to the right God. And so when you begin to understand that about liberty and about freedom, you connect that to that issue, that part of your life that brings you to the point of wanting to quit, of wanting to give up. Because quitting is going to make you confront who is the God of your life. If your life has been ordered by the Lord and your steps have been ordered by Him, then whatever you're in should be by the direction of the Lord. Whether it's a relationship, you should be in that relationship because the Lord directed you there. Whether it's at a church, you should be there because the Lord directed you there. A job, you should be there. Ministry, you should be there because the Lord directed you there. And so if it's time to walk away, it should also be at the direction of the Lord. If it is something else that is causing you to quit, you've identified, in all honesty, and I know this is going to hurt because it hurt me, but in all honesty, if something else is making you quit that is anything other than the voice of God, you just identified idolatry. You just identify that there is another God sitting on the throne of your heart, and it could be your pain tolerance level could be your God, your emotional capability could be your God, your need for affirmation could be your God. All of that stuff, you're just identifying idols that you've erected in your heart and you didn't even know it. And so there are a lot of times the Lord will bring us to a place of wanting to quit because He's not trying to break us. He's not trying to destroy us. He's really not trying to crush us. What He's trying to do is show you, hey, there's an idol sitting over there that I want. Yeah, that right there over in the corner in your heart, that's what I want to crush. So if I've got to make you feel like quitting so I can put the spotlight on the idols, I will do that. Quitting is a spiritual issue. Number two, it is an emotional one. If God has called you to something and you get to the place of wanting to quit and wanting to walk away, then what the Lord is also doing is He's revealing to you that you don't have the emotional intelligence you need for your future. I know that hurts. That hurts me because I'm really talking to me while I'm talking to y'all. Is that you don't have the emotional intelligence you need for your future. When the Israelites got out of Egypt and they began to process through the wilderness into promise, into destiny, into prophecy, because all of it was prophetic. All of it was. When they got to the wilderness and things did not go well for them, what happened? They began to murmur, they began to complain, because I'm give you another secret. The hidden issue behind all murmuring and the hidden issue behind all complaining is I don't have the emotional intelligence I need to handle where I'm going. So now I'm under strain emotionally. I'm under pressure emotionally that I've just identified I'm not equipped yet to handle. So what I need to do, the mature way to handle it, is not to resort to murmuring, is not to resort to complaining, it's building yourself up emotionally. It goes back to, because remember, all of this is tied together. It's going back to, I've got to make sure that the right God is sitting on the throne of my heart. And when I make sure that God is in His right place, now I can assess my emotions and put them in the right place. Because I'm emotionally strained, because my job, my ministry, my relationships, my business is not giving me what I think it should be giving me. And when the truth of the matter is, if I'm not getting what I need from that, it must mean I'm looking for that to give me something it does not have the capability to give me. For instance, if I'm looking for my business to make me feel successful, I'm probably going to get to the place where I want to quit. Why? Because the business was not meant to feed my need to be successful. God was supposed to do that. If the right God was sitting on the throne of my heart, I would start a business already successful. So I don't need it to validate my success. I don't need it to authenticate it or to verify it. I'm just expressing what's going on in my soul. We've got to begin to really grab a hold of that our lives are an expression of the soul. Whatever's going on in your soul is going to show up in your life. And whatever you're producing in life and whatever you're partnering with life should be an expression, an outgrowth of how strong your soul is. Don't connect to somebody if you do not have the soul strength you need to endure that level of partnership, to endure that level of ministry, to endure that level of relationship. You need to make sure your soul, your emotions are in the right place. You need to make sure your mind, because when you want to quit, it means that there is still programming that needs to be done in your mind. Your thoughts, there are still some areas in your mind you think the wrong thing about you. When you want to quit, there is some type of philosophy in your mind that you are telling yourself about you that makes you feel unqualified, that makes you feel unworthy, that makes you feel like you are not suited for the job. It's why you want to quit. It's because you don't think you fit the bill. It says that, and you've got to locate that thought, locate that philosophy, and change it, because you need the mental bandwidth to handle where God is taking you. And you can't get to the future thinking you deserve Egypt. I can't take you into prophecy thinking that the best you can do is what you've always done. I've got to address that. So quitting makes you face that. And finally, quitting is a physical issue. You've got to make sure that your body is able to handle the future. You know, quitting is almost like when a woman is in travail and getting ready to give birth, those contraction pains. Quitting is almost a contraction. It is a thing that you have to bump up against in order to give birth to the new thing. God is always, every time something new is getting ready to come out of you, you're going to have a contraction pain called, I want to quit. I want to be done. I want to be out of here. So when you begin to address those 4 areas of your life and begin to relook at that stuff, readdress those things and put them in proper place, you're going to go from wanting to quit, from to wanting to renew, wanting to refresh, and wanting to put everything back in its proper place. Hey, we've all wanted to quit at some point in time, and I'm probably going to go back and listen to that myself to kind of help myself make sure I have right perspective. I am enjoying having conversations with you guys, and that's exactly what I'm going to continue to do. Talk about this Christian life and how to make this thing work for real. If you don't want to miss out on that, you want to make sure you are subscribed and getting those notifications so that we can stay on this journey together and do Christianity the right way.